Coming up on this week's edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
How could the fight for control of the U.S. Congress impact your cattle business? We've got some insights. Plus, see how John Deere equipment can take your operations haymaking to the next level.
And now, NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
Hello and welcome to NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. I'm Kevin Auctioner. We're less than 2 months away from the midterm elections, an important day that'll determine who controls the U.S. Congress. We've got to look at how the midterms could help or harm those of us in the cattle business in this week's Beltway Beef Spotlight.
You know, election season is a really important time here in the DC office for the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. While a lot of people kind of shy away from politics, they don't like talking about it. They certainly don't like talking about it at the dinner table. Here, we sort of revel in it. This is our game time. This is the Super Bowl for the political end of the NCBA universe. And in this particular election cycle, we've rarely seen a more pivotal moment to be involved in the process. Whenever we have single party control of Washington, like we do now with a Democrat in the White House and Democratic control of both the U.S. House and Senate, we see a voter base that tends to look for change. Even if things are going well, if things are going poorly, regardless, history tells us that in these midterm elections, we typically see the party in control lose ground. That presents a tremendous opportunity for Republicans that are looking at a very narrow majority for Democrats in the U.S. House of Representatives and a 50-50 split with the vice president making the tie-breaking vote in the Senate. Those pickup opportunities for the Republican Party in both houses of Congress has been the real focus of the last year and a half leading up to this election cycle. We've seen at certain points in this cycle pretty wide projections of the possibility of pickups for Republicans. As is often the case, we're starting to see those opportunities narrow as the election day draws near. What was a 30 or 40 seat potential pickup for Republicans in the House of Representatives is now looking like it might be about 10 seats, give or take, depending on turnout on election day and obviously whatever surprises might pop up in the last few weeks of the election. We always call that the October surprise, and I've never seen an election cycle where we didn't have one. So we'll be watching closely over the next couple of weeks and months to see what that closing argument looks like, both at the party level for Republicans and Democrats, but also for those individual races around the country. As that happens, we'll be making our plans here in Washington for just how your team is going to engage with that new Congress. We've spent the last year and a half having dozens of meetings with these candidates, both existing members of Congress and senators, as well as potential candidates that are newly seeking those offices. As they come to Washington and get settled, we'll be up there on the Hill first day, making sure we make those introductions and give them a positive impression of what this industry does and why it's so important to support America's cattle producers. In the last election cycle, we used tools like the NCBA PAC to have a 95% success rate of supporting candidates that ended up winning their elections and coming to Congress. We're hoping for a similar result this time with your help supporting things like the NCBA PAC, and we're excited to put those tools to use in the 118th Congress to push our agenda forward.
No matter the outcome of the midterm elections, the National Cattlemen's Beef Association will continue to work in Washington, D.C. to protect the interests of cattle producers. NCBA President Don Schievelbein says the organization prides itself on being able to work with politicians on both sides of the aisle.
So NCBA prides itself that it pertains to ag issues, and it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat or which side of the aisle you stand on. It's all about whether you land on the right issues for our cattlemen. So if the grassroots issues are right, we're with them, and if it's wrong, we're going to oppose you regardless of which side of the aisle you stand on.
Now, you can help NCBA fight for common sense federal policies and against efforts that threaten the future of the beef cattle industry by becoming a member of NCBA. It's easy to do. Just call 866-233-3872. Or you can visit the website ncba.org. NCBA has always welcomed and encouraged younger generations to get involved with the cattle industry. Russell Nemitz has a look at the value of becoming an NCBA intern.
Well, policy made in Washington, D.C. can directly impact cattle-producing families nationwide. That's why it's critical for the team at NCBA's Washington office to be a strong voice for the cattle industry. And developing the next generation of policy advocates is one goal of NCBA's Public Policy Internship Program.
I would say that the DC internship is a really unique experience for young folks in college or even freshly graduated. It exposes you to a wide range of issues. I know for me personally, I hadn't been aware of a lot of the issues going on in the cattle industry prior to that role, and I really appreciated how the office encouraged a hands-on approach to learning, and they were also really invested in my interests.
So as a public policy intern, I do a little bit of everything. I do lots of work in the different policy sectors, animal health and welfare, public lands, environmental stuff. Do lots of things with transportation and things like that, anything pertaining to the cattle industry.
So our day, it varies every single day. So me and my fellow intern Anthony, we both have our daily tasks that we take care of. So we work on various projects for the Public Lands Council with publications that they send out every day. We also do cattle market reports. We also send out various information to our DC staff about committee hearings and things that are posted on the Federal Register, just to keep our staff up to date with what's going on.
NCBA's public policy interns are undergraduate or graduate students, and they spend time not only at the NCBA office in Washington, but also on Capitol Hill and at agencies like the USDA. The experience gives them a real opportunity to sharpen their skills for the future.
Some highlights for me have been traveling to Capitol Hill with some of our lobbying team. There we got to sit in on meetings with congressional staff and talk about issues that are facing the cattle industry and how Congress, should act on those. So that was really special for me, just to get to kind of see what it's like to do those lobbying efforts and to be the voice for the cattlewomen on Capitol Hill.
I think what makes the NCBA internship stand out is the hands-on experience that you're allowed to take part in. You're working directly on projects that are actually used in lobbying efforts and improving the industry and communicating with producers. And I think that's the biggest thing that sets it apart, is that you're actually a part of something bigger.
Apply, apply, apply. Because this internship is really special because you truly get to do meaningful tasks that are going to be impactful. And the staff at NCBA is so genuinely caring about you and what you want to do. They're going to give you so many learning opportunities that are going to be beneficial to you in your interest area.
In Washington, D.C., I'm Russell Nemitz reporting for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
If you'd like to learn how to apply for an internship, go to ncba.org and click on the About tab to find links to many great opportunities for students. Still ahead on Cattlemen to Cattlemen, we'll show you how John Deere equipment helps a Montana producer manage the challenges of hay season.
Getting to run a family farm is a dream come true. When you can grow good grass, there's opportunity to grow plenty of weeds. We want to use the tools that will help us do a better job. I would like the legacy to be that we took really good care of the land and we truly did it as a passion and we did our very best for the right reasons.
This beef quality assurance tip is funded by the Beef Checkoff.
Hi, I'm Courtney Gray, the Director of Marketing and Industry Relations with the Pennsylvania Beef Council. A large portion of my job is on the farm with producers, helping them to obtain beef quality assurance certification. But another part of my job is working every day with consumers who have questions about the beef that they are purchasing in the grocery store. My tip for you today is to obtain your beef quality assurance certification. I understand that many of the tips that are in the beef quality assurance program might be things you've already implemented on your farm or ranch. The importance of the certification process helps us when we're talking with consumer audiences to show your commitment to basic things on your farm. Things like good animal husbandry, quality animal care, and ensuring that the beef that ends up in consumers' hands is of a high quality product. It's never been more important for us to have that story to tell. I hope this has encouraged you to want to obtain your beef quality assurance certification. You can find out more by visiting bqa.org, which will help you find the location for an in-person certification near you, or you can take the online modules and complete the certification from the comfort of your own home. BQA, the right way is the only way.
The Beef Quality Assurance Program is funded by the Beef Checkoff.
What does it take to be successful in agriculture? Hard work and perseverance are essential, as well as the ability to adapt to a variety of challenges. Cattlemen to Cattlemen reporter Kate Maher tells us those characteristics are evident in one third-generation producer from Montana, whose relentless focus on quality is paying off in an area where raising cattle and hay is getting more difficult.
When it comes to raising cattle and growing hay, Lance DeHaan knows there's no better spot than the vast landscape of his native Gallatin Valley.
We run cattle from one end of the valley to the other. It's about a 40-mile distance. Same with our hay ground. It's a lot of highway miles for the equipment, a lot of trucking. There's mountains, there's rivers, there's everything in between. Lots of steep country, lots of flat country. We go from high rainfall areas to 10 miles away, some of the driest in the country. We get sometimes 2-3 feet of snow, lasts through the winter. So it's normal to feed 5-6 months out of the year. So we need quality hay to feed the cows through that cold, wet spell. Try to cut the hay early, get quality, relative feed value, protein, and sell a good marketable product to our customers as well as our cows.
In fact, Lance has a long list of repeat customers nationwide who buy his hay.
Lance does a great job with all of his cattle and his equipment and produces a great product. He's got an excellent name here at selling hay and really strives for the best quality all the time. I mean, he's looking out for the best cattle, he's looking out for the best hay to sell and to feed his cows.
We put up round bales, square bales, and throughout the season, we watch that drought monitor map, not only in Montana, but through the whole country. And depending where the areas are, the distance of trucking, the ranchers compared to feedlots and dairies, we pick those dry areas, and that's how we decide what we're gonna sell. Some years it's more square bales, some years we make a lot more round bales. We plan off of the demand areas. We get lots of snow here in Montana, so we like to have our hay yards planned ahead. We have our bales lined out accordingly, not only where we can plow the snow away. When the snow melts, we can get it to drain, not ruin the bales.
Lance relies on John Deere equipment along with Joe Pruitt and the team at Frontline Ag Solutions to help him produce the best quality hay even in tough years.
Yeah, this is one of those years where the weather hasn't cooperated. We cut the hay on time, we do everything we should, but you can't beat Mother Nature some days. That's why we need good, dependable equipment. When it is time to go, we're ready to go. We run multiple rakes and multiple balers so we can have consistent hay in each field, and we can get the job done on time and do the best that Mother Nature allows. We switched to all John Deere tractors, balers, swather. The main reason is the dealership. They take care of us. When we need something, they come. They take care of us. We were able to go there. We haven't had that with other dealers, so we try to stay loyal to Frontline, and it works good for our operation.
We are fully dedicated to taking care of our customers with all of our service, whether it's a salesperson, a service technician, our parts professionals are there ready to help get you the parts you need. The customers driving John Deere, I feel, are a premium operator. They run the best of the best, and I'm proud to be a part of their operation through the John Deere equipment.
The competition for land in the rapidly developing valley brings even more challenges, and both Lance and Joe understand the importance of working together to continue keeping the land productive.
We live in a beautiful spot and the secret's out. So we have an influx of people, we have an influx of tourists that generate people coming here, and the developments are taking over our nice black dirt that we were raising crops on. It's just really, it's a huge population increase.
John Deere, it's important to us. I mean, they take care of the dealerships, help take care of the community, and we need that. We lose more and more hay fields. So we need a good company and a good dealership to help us producers through it. Without good hay, there's not good cows. It takes everything and everybody working together to make everything work.
A lot of these customers I have that I take care of aren't really customers anymore. They're all my friends. So we all work together and make it all work. It takes a team.
Agriculture in this valley, it's important. Houses are moving in. We're getting more and more people, more and more pollution. We need the crops, we need the farmers, we need the cattle to keep the land healthy and prosperous.
In the Gallatin Valley of Montana, I'm Kate Maher reporting for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
Now, if you'd like to learn more about the full line of John Deere tractors and hay equipment, head to your local John Deere dealer, or you can visit the website johndeere.com. Still ahead, we'll take you inside a regional stockmanship and stewardship event to see how NCBA is helping to educate producers. That story when we return.
Hi everybody, I'm Tom Elliott with John Deere.
In the world of cattle vaccines, when you see fewer reactions, you'll notice healthier cattle and higher profits too. Because sometimes good protection is about what you don't see. Protect your productivity with cattle vaccines from Merck Animal Health. Proven to cause fewer reactions. You'll like what you see. Our trusted portfolio is just one more way Merck Animal Health works for you. Talk to your veterinarian and visit cattlefriendlyvaccines.com to learn more.
Time now for Weather Watch with meteorologist Matt Makins.
Matt Makins here for this week's Weather Watch. There's been a lot of interest over the last few weeks about the winter outlook. You know, Farmer's Almanac, those kind of things garner a lot of attention this time of the year. So let's break down the winter forecast as it applies to history, a history-based forecast. And you're going to read a lot more about this forecast in the Fall Directions magazine as soon as it arrives. There's a full write-up about, even regional-based, about what we're expecting throughout the winter season, the cold season, really. So for November through April, coldest areas of the country will be the northern plains all the way down to the Gulf. Warmest areas, the southwest. That's in terms of temperatures, and that's based on history. Similar weather patterns, say similar times of La Nina, similar times when the Atlantic is behaving like it has. Those kind of things. You pull those historic patterns that are similar. It's called an analog-based forecast. That's what we have here. As you look at precipitation now for November through April, this is rain, snow, ice, all included, all precipitation. Drought areas continue across most of the south and a large portion of the plains. That's due to La Nina's influence. Northern Rockies, Pacific Northwest, hit-and-miss areas around the Great Lakes and the New England states can get some moisture as well. And that is also due to La Nina's influence. But let's talk about snowfall. On average, this is what snowfall would do across the country. Again, on average, snowfall reaches every state on the map. If we take away those best fit years, the analog years, most similar years to what we have coming our way, this is what we'll end up with. And I know it's kind of hard to tell snowfall totals here, so let's just look at it in terms of blue areas being snowier than normal, and red areas expected to be having less snowfall than normal. And across the northern tier, those wet areas, Snowier than normal. That's going to cover parts of Washington into Montana, Great Lakes region. Sadly, a lot of the Rocky Mountain West, though, does see less snowfall than on average. That's due to history. We'll see you in that Fall Directions magazine for a full breakdown. That's this week's Weather Watch. I'm meteorologist Matt Makins.
With all the challenges in today's beef industry, staying on top of the latest in production techniques is absolutely critical. That's why NCBA offers stockmanship and stewardship events all across the country that not only provide education from industry experts, but also an opportunity for you to network with and learn from your peers. Cattlemen to Cattlemen reporter Matt Fleck has a look at one of these regional events and the benefits they provide to all producers.
Low-stress cattle handling is one way producers can improve cattle performance and make life easier for them and their animals. Providing education in these methods draws crowds of producers to NCBA's regional stockmanship and stewardship events that offer valuable cattle care training.
First and foremost, it's an opportunity to gain the latest and greatest in terms of information and what's happening, what the science tells us, and how we can apply that to our own production operation.
The sounder you can handle cattle, the softer they are to you, the softer you are to them, the easier they are to handle. Not only will they perform better, but they will obviously add value to your bottom line, not only in pounds, but in the quality of the carcass.
NCBA's regional stockmanship and stewardship events provide valuable education to producers of all skill levels. These clinics are led by a team of experts who share their knowledge over the course of the 2-day program.
We're very fortunate at an event like this to have the opportunity to collaborate with NCBA and bring some nationally recognized experts in their particular field. We think about people like Ron and Kurt, and in terms of the stockmanship and stewardship, and we've got excellent local experts as well, like Jennifer Ligon, our extension agent in Buckingham County. But the opportunity to learn from them, who are recognized across the country, to have them right here at home in our backyard and speaking to us directly is quite an opportunity.
The one thing that I try to drive home to everyone is this is one change that you can make to your operation that requires no input costs whatsoever. So you're getting a gain of anywhere from $50 to $400 per calf, and you didn't do anything different, but maybe slowed down a little bit. You might have even actually used less people to work your cattle, or less time to work them.
I love how the sessions have been more than just, sitting in a classroom and kind of being preached to. It's what I've done for I don't know how many years of my life now. So it was very interesting to see people actually working with cattle and showing us how to do it in person.
Merck Animal Health sponsors these one-of-a-kind training sessions. The company says they're proud to support this important initiative to help give cattle producers valuable information.
Stockmanship and stewardship is a huge value, not only to the producer, but to Merck Animal Health as well. And simply that if we can work with our producers and help them to understand what good stockmanship means and the benefit that provides, it's going to make your vaccines work better. When animals do get sick, it's going to make your treatments work better.
Additional support for the program is provided by the Chekhov-funded Beef Quality Assurance Program, and the BQA principles form the foundation for all of the lessons.
Well, beef quality assurance is an extremely important certification for the beef industry, and from a big picture standpoint, I think it really starts with providing confidence to consumers that the things we do in terms of our production and management practices are the best ones that are out there.
Beef quality assurance allows our consumer to understand that the practices that we do on the farm or ranch are for the betterment of the cattle and also to improve the safety and quality of the food they consume.
With support from Cargill, NCBA also offers the Rancher Resilience Grant, which cattle producers can apply for to help offset some of the cost of attending educational events like this.
We were recipients of the Resilience Grant,
And we were excited to do that. We were committed to coming anyway, but when our extension agent sent us this opportunity, and being a grant writer in my bread and butter job, I said, well, let's try it before we actually try to pay and come and use that expense. And we were just fortunate and excited to use it.
These Stockmanship and stewardship events also provide an opportunity to interact with like-minded producers who want to do what's best, not only for their own operations, but for the entire beef industry.
There's great opportunity not only learn formally, but all the informal discussion that happens in the hallway or on the tour or outside the classroom in terms of connecting with other producers that share similar challenges.
The value of meeting other producers is great. Anytime you get to group situation, especially when you sit down at lunch and have chat times, pick up a lot of valuable information and ideas on how people handle problems every day.
Taking just one aspect of this clinic and going home and trying it out where the opportunity presents itself, that's the most important thing. And once you see that little thing work, the light bulb goes on and you just want more and more.
Reporting from Blacksburg, Virginia, I'm Matt Fleck for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
Did you miss out on a chance to see a Stockmanship and stewardship event in person this year? Well, you're in luck. On November 1st, there will be a special virtual event. It offers the same high-quality content and educational sessions, but you can watch it from the comfort of your own home. You can register free at stockmanshipandstewardship.org. Still to come on Cattlemen to Cattlemen, we'll discuss some of the issues facing public lands ranchers and how NCBA is working to help those important operations. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
When you spot BRD in your cattle, that's your golden opportunity to target infection and its associated fever with a single dose of Resflor Gold, the industry standard dual therapy. To learn more, talk to your Merck Animal Health rep or your vet and see label at resflorgold.com. Animals intended for human consumption must not be slaughtered within 38 days of treatment. This product is not approved for use in female dairy cattle 20 months of age or older, including dry dairy cows.
Did you know you can get reimbursed for attending cattle industry educational events? The Rancher Resilience Grant helps cattle producers attend valuable programs such as Cattlemen's College and Stockmanship and Stewardship training sessions. Local, state, and national events qualify for the grant, and successful applicants can receive money back to help cover registration fees and hotel expenses. To apply for the Rancher Resilience Grant, go to ncba.org and click on the Producer tab.
Farmers and ranchers know firsthand that federal regulations can hit the beef industry hard, which is why the Public Lands Council works to protect those raising cattle on federal lands. Russell Nemitz takes us inside the annual PLC meeting and highlights some of the important issues that were discussed.
Well, this year, Cody, Wyoming hosted the Public Lands Council's annual meeting, and as always, a lot of important issues were covered. However, incoming PLC president and Colorado rancher Mark Rober says the main mission of PLC continues to be to keep ranchers on America's federal lands.
Our main objective is keeping ranchers in business on the land and keeping the land healthy with using livestock as a tool. And that is really our main mission.
However, ranchers are worried about the future of grazing on federal lands, especially with the Biden administration rolling back many of the Trump administration's favorable changes. Former Montana Stock Growers Association Executive Vice President Errol Rice, now a senior policy advisor to the BLM director, hopes he can ease some of those worries.
I think hopefully with that opportunity, we can better equip ourselves as a beef industry to build these relationships with federal agencies, not only at the field level, but the state level, at the federal level, to number one, gain access to the important decision makers within these agencies, provide the credible information that public lands ranchers need to get on the table for discussion. And then thirdly, I think a big part of my role is to articulate that yes, grazing is important. It's important to the ecology of the lands in the West, and it's important to the, to the business economics of public land ranching in the West too. So hopefully I can help be that bridge, be an open door for the public lands industry, and hopefully move the needle on a few of these issues.
The American Sheep Industry Association's Vice President and Wyoming rancher Brad Boner says the Endangered Species Act is one of the big issues that PLC is working on, and for good reason.
So I think what we've learned over time, and the Sage Grouse initiative is a great example of that, is the only way we really solve these problems is with a collaborative effort. We don't solve the problem by being on one end of the spectrum or the other, and solutions actually come out of a collaborative effort, and PLC helps us accomplish that. And so I think we just need to continue looking for those solutions and not continue talking about problems. Let's get the solutions that actually work for everybody.
Oregon Cattlemen's Association President Todd Nash says that proper forest management is also important for livestock producers and their local communities.
And you talk about Oregon, it's a big timber state, and we see the encroachment of timbers being a threat to the rangelands as well. The burden on fire, the infrastructure that we've lost over the years, our mills are largely gone, and so we need to have a long-term sustainable cut so that we can be able to clean up the forest and be able to provide back to our communities, keep them healthy, keep the forest healthy, keep the range healthy, and those are all big priorities for us.
Incoming PLC President Mark Rober agrees and says building coalitions with others is very important to the organization and its members as they look to 2023 and their legislative priorities.
We're going to be continuing to build partnerships with other multiple use groups so that we can have a bigger pot to draw from, and then of course, there'll be the usual. We're going to be concerned about ESA and defending the ranchers' rights to be out on that public land. So it's going to be a three-phased attack, and we will be busy. There's no question about it.
And you can bet the Public Lands Council will continue to work hard to keep grazing a part of the landscape on America's federal lands. Reporting from Cody, Wyoming, for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen, I'm Russell Nemitz.
For more information on the issues that impact federal lands and the ranchers that graze there, visit the website publiclandscouncil.org. Still to come, we'll introduce you to a cattle operation in Texas that is leaving the land in better shape for future generations. We'll be right back.
Cattle producers across the country work hard to care for their animals and their land. The USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service is there to help. Find out how you can work with NRCS to develop a conservation plan for your operation. Find possible funding resources for implementing conservation practices, or get free expert advice on ways to improve your farm or ranch. Visit the website nrcs.usda.gov today. This beef quality assurance tip is funded by the Beef Checkoff.
Hi, Jolie Fitzsimons here to talk to you today about the Beef Quality Assurance Program and our online BQA modules. The BQA program is an important part of the beef industry. It helps to build consumer confidence and ensures that we're taking care of our animals the right way. The online modules are a great way for producers to stay up to date on their knowledge and certifications. We have 3 courses: cow-calf, Stocker Backgrounder, and Feed Yard. All 3 of these courses are also available in Spanish. They're free online and take about 2 to 3 hours to complete. If you don't have that time, the great thing about the modules is that you can come back to them later as it saves your progress. Our states also host in-person trainings. You can find more about these in-person trainings and our online modules at bqa.org.
The Beef Quality Assurance Program is funded by the Beef Checkoff.
If you're connected with the beef cattle business, then you should like the NCBA page on Facebook. The NCBA Facebook page shares photos, news, and valuable information about the beef cattle industry. You can also follow the NCBA Twitter feed at Beef USA. So stay in touch with NCBA on Facebook and Twitter.
The Environmental Stewardship Award Program recognizes the nation's best cattle and livestock operations for the outstanding stewardship practices and conservation achievements. The desire to leave the land better than they found it is a common trait among cattle producers, and you can certainly see that in action with these ESAP winners. Let's head to Texas for a look at the winning operation in Region 4.
On the rolling grasslands of West Texas, cattle graze across 3,800 acres on Dry Creek Ranch, a family operation that Carl Schlinke and his wife Pat returned to after his 26-year career as a veterinarian in the U.S. Army.
My grandfather started this particular part of the ranch in 1902.
My husband Carl is 89 and I'm 88. We've been married for 69 years. We have loved being on the ranch, and we've been here about 40 years.
When Carl and Pat started their work on Dry Creek Ranch in 1982, they made it their motto to pursue excellence. And for 4 decades, they worked side by side, looking for every opportunity to make the land better.
Cattle do make a very positive impact on this land. Pat and myself, we've had a tremendous amount of pleasure in getting the ranch to where it is. There's no doubt in my mind it is sustainable. You can sustain livestock on this ranch. Although it's small, it'll produce good quality beef, and that's rewarding to me.
My parents are kind of an inspiration to us for the amount of dedication that they've put in. I would say that a lot of their work was on the heroic side, as far as I'm concerned. It's a tremendous amount of work and dedication over the years that they put into it.
With their children having careers away from the ranch, Carl and Pat made the decision to partner with a young couple from outside the family to continue the ranch and care of the land.
We've had programs that improved the ranch, made it more sustainable, and now we have a family living on it, Carson and Bonnie Womack, that we feel can take it over and will take it over.
They own the land and we own the cattle and run them on their land, and it works out great for everybody.
Carson and Bonnie are a blessing to us. They are energetic, they're young, they take care of things. They are always kind of a step ahead of us in getting things done that we know might need to be done.
The Schlinke family at Dry Creek Ranch, they've always been creative and they've always thought outside the box. And I think their transition to the next generation with Carson and Bonnie is a huge testament to their commitment to agriculture. They're not selling out, they're remaining on the ranch, they're remaining a part of the system, a part of the process.
There's not many places we could show up and walk into something that's been this well taken care of. We're just trying to keep it like they want it.
With less than 18 inches of annual rainfall, drought is always a threat on Dry Creek Ranch. And one of the major challenges is battling invasive brush that can easily crowd out native grasses.
The mesquite and juniper were taking up so much moisture that we needed a program to get rid of that.
The brush we try to burn about 1/6 of the ranch every year.
By controlling the brush, we have more grass and we have more utilization of the water.
Carl and Pat did a great job cleaning out all this country before we got here and grubbing and reseeding and individually plant, treat, and spraying just to try to keep more grass for the cattle.
Dry Creek Ranch is the most beautiful grazing ranch in West Texas that I've seen, especially in this country that is so chock full of cedar and mesquite. Carl and Pat have just done a tremendous job of land sculpting and brush clearing.
Over the years, Carl and Pat partnered with NRCS on multiple projects to install cross-fencing, as well as water storage tanks, miles of pipeline, and more than 15 concrete water troughs.
We have the luxury of knowing that our cattle can reach water within a half a mile or less of any of the portions of the pastures they're grazing.
We've got real good water systems here. Carl and Pat did a real good job. Well, they worked with the NRCS, I know, to kind of set up all the water systems. And it's important to have real good water. You can have all the grass in the world, if you don't have no water, it doesn't work real well.
The evidence of good land stewardship is pretty much seen around me. We're standing in waist-tall Klein grass, side oats grama, some blue stems, and every pasture we've driven through today has been the exact same. As you can see, this is a really healthy landscape.
With rotational grazing, brush control, and years of hard work, the positive impact on the land is visible. And there's no doubt there is a strong foundation of stewardship on Dry Creek Ranch.
For the future of Dry Creek Ranch, I hope that Bonnie and I can continue to stay here and just kind of try to continue the practices Carl and Pat were using before we got here, and keep growing lots of grass and try to keep making things better.
Respect for the land, to me, is very important. We have a resource of grass that can only really be used by livestock, so we must take care of that.
Being a good steward of the land that God has given us, it's something that we are obligated to do. It's something we enjoy doing, and you can't ask for a better life than that.
To learn more about the Environmental Stewardship Award program and see videos of all past, regional, and national winners, visit the website environmentalstewardship.org. Still to come, we'll introduce you to a company that is looking to revolutionize the beef industry by bringing delicious and healthy Akiyushi beef to American consumers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
From the very beginning, Ritchie has been dedicated to one thing: helping people deliver fresh, constant water to their animals. Today's Ritchie waterers rely on a valve design that remains much the same as it was in 1921. It's a simple idea: do it right, and the rest will take care of itself. We never set out to create a company that would be around for 100 years. We just wanted to create something great.
It's time to enter the NCBA's 10th Annual National Anthem Singing Contest. Open to NCBA, ANCW, or Beef Board members and their families. The winner will sing the Star-Spangled Banner at the 2023 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show in New Orleans next February. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and the winner will get cool prizes, including round-trip airfare, hotel, and registration for the convention. It's all sponsored by Norbrook. The entry deadline is October 15th. Details, rules, and entry forms at convention.ncba.org.
Do you have an upcoming production sale to advertise? Then contact the Cattlemen to Cattlemen marketing team or your breed association to learn more.
Farm or ranch to table can mean different things to different people. But at its heart, the term means monitoring an individual animal as it moves through the beef production cycle to make sure it's raised in a safe, humane, and environmentally sustainable manner. It's a concept that Heart Brand Beef has embraced as they make every effort to ensure that Akiyushi beef you eat is both great tasting and healthy. Here's a closer look at how they're putting that into action at a restaurant in Houston.
Howdy everyone, I'm Jojo Corrales. I'm the Vice President of Cattle Operations at Heart Brand, and we are excited today to be here in Houston at Brenner's on the Bayou, and we're with Chef Ryan back here in his awesome kitchen. We are introducing this ranch to table concept of being a rancher ourselves and just doing all we can do to make you a better product, and wanting to see how you like grilling it up today, what you feel Heart Brand brings to your restaurant that differentiates yourself from the others, and just kind of what you think about the product and kind of, first of all, kind of how you'd like to prepare it.
Well, here at Brenner's on the Bayou, we just season it with salt and pepper, and we put it in the broiler. Cook it for about 6-7 minutes, roughly on each side, to get a medium rare to medium, depending on the guest's desired temperature, of course. I have enjoyed cooking Hart brand. The Akiyushi is fantastic. We have 3 different cuts of steaks on our menu. The ribeye is fantastic, the strip is fantastic, and then the skirt steak, honestly, it's my favorite steak. And I appreciate you guys for making such a quality product.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, that's something that we feel as beef producers, the demand for high quality beef has gotten stronger and stronger. And you reiterated that earlier of just as your time as a chef, an executive chef, how much more your customers are wanting to know where their product comes from, wanting to know what goes in their body and what's being raised. So yeah, we're excited that Brenner's, as well as known as they are, chooses a product like Hart brand, and we're excited to be in your restaurant.
I've heard rumors about how Akiyushi and how the whole Wagyu cattle started in Texas. Now, I've heard some wacky rumors. You got to tell me what's the real?
Yeah, I've heard the same rumor as well. So in the mid '90s, I think 1994, there was a group of cows and bulls that came over from Japan. So they flew out in a Boeing 747 into the United States and made their way down to Texas. So the herd that Hart brand has now is the set that came over in the mid '90s, and we've been able to maintain the purity of that breed all the way through, and really, I mean, it's something that we take a lot of pride in making sure that what we have, as Akiyushi are truly Akiyushi cattle.
So interesting, very interesting. So I was told it was Pablo Escobar, but.
So Chef, I know you have all the options in the world to buy for this great restaurant and steakhouse, and a restaurant that's known for some of the best steaks in the area. So what makes you choose your different quality grades, and what do you see as the benefit of having Hart brand's Akiyushi versus just normal USDA Prime?
Well, one, I've been here for quite a while. I've been at Brenner's on the Bayou for a little over 12 years, and I've put on all kinds of different steaks from different ranches, and Akiyushi has been our #1 selling steak that is not prime. So of course that is the one that I'm gonna stick with. It's not really something you can describe. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. You gotta taste it. You gotta try it. That's why I try to let my servers taste some of the steaks. I try to educate and inform our employees, and that way they know how to properly sell the steak to the customer.
So Cattlemen are one of the most traditional type people in the world. Like, they just don't like to change, very often. They like to keep doing what they have done for a very long time. So you have to have something that gets their attention. So one definitely thing is their bottom line of how much money they get for their animal. And Akiyushi cattle bring more money into their programs. I mean, that's definitely something that gets their attention. And then just seeing how much marbling the Akiyushi can add to their cow base is something that they key in on. And then just introducing them to how we sell meat. So that's something that, when you opened up your box, that's something that is new to most cattlemen, is how meat gets to the end user. It's through those big chain distributors, and we gotta follow the lines of how you buy product. So, I'm not out here giving you one steak out of my back of my truck and going back to the ranch. I mean, we have to fit into your supply chain and how you receive product, and how you want to receive it, and if you want to cut 16-ounce steaks or if you want to cut 14-ounce steaks. I mean, you have the ability to do that, and on the aging process too, however long you want to age it. I mean, so you can be very specific to your niche of what you want to give your customer. So Chef, as cattlemen, we don't get to have that face-to-face interaction like you and your staff do. So it's a privilege for us to have this relationship with a great restaurant like we do, and get that feedback, like you said. So what message would you give to the cattlemen out there in the United States, and what message would you give them to tell them what your customers are wanting and maybe what they could improve on to give our beef consumer a better product.
It takes a lot of work to get this quality on the plate. So I appreciate everything you guys are doing already. The guests seem to really enjoy it, and I really enjoy it. So yeah, everything that you're doing, just keep it up. It's great.
With the higher prices we've seen in the last 12 months for prime beef, one trend that we're seeing in the high-end steakhouses is that most restaurants are looking for alternatives to these items to offer on their menus. Dry-aged and branded beef, items have seen a strong upswing as restaurant companies look to bring more higher-end products to customers. Moving forward, we will continue to see a trend of increased sales and branded programs and alternative high-end beef products. There are many competitors in this space, and the key is to develop either a brand name or partner with someone that can bring products to buyers. The restaurant business provides higher-end beef processors the opportunity to get in front of the customers very quickly. The key is to partner with restaurant companies not only to offer a consistent supply, but also offer them at a feasible price to everyone's menu.
Now, if you want to know more about Akiyushi cattle, purchase some great cuts of beef, or pick up some recipes and cooking tips, just visit heartbrandbeef.com. Well, that wraps up this edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. Thanks for spending time with us. We'll see you again next week right here on RFD TV.